whare tapura, which is dedicated to the art of weaving. So weaving, very important art to our people. It allowed our people to weave together items they were able to use every day. So examples, I have a few examples here. We have baskets, bags, oh my gosh, different shapes, different sizes. Kono, which are plates to eat out of, it was all woven together with this plant here. Now the technique that they would use, here's my basketball. Where are you at, girl? Oh. Okay, this is the technique that our people would use, the very simple under-over technique. This is what we call takitahi. Takitahi is probably the most basic technique you learn, and then once you learn and master this technique, then you move on to much more advanced techniques. So we have takitahi. This one here is known to us as takirua. So can you see the variation in weaving styles? And it always went back to the individual themselves, what kind of technique they learned. With that same technique, bed mats, that same concept of mats they would use on the inside of the house to create lining and insulation inside. And also our clothing was woven together with this plant here. Just behind me, this is typically what our people would wear in days of old. This here in the front is known to us as a maro, which is a loincloth. Behind that we have a hieke, which sat on the shoulders and acted as a raincoat. Now this one here in the front, much more modern day garment. As you can see, the tatsua or the belts of our piupiu, that there is fibre. The fibre we find in our flax plant. And also the black sections along an individual strand is the fibre as well. So I'm just going to quickly show you how we get to that fibre. So you get a brief insight. Very simple. This is what it would look like. Okay, so I've only just extracted this. And I'm just going to show you. So what I've done here is I've made a very, very slight incision on the surface there. And using a muscle sharp, what I do is I line it tight up against that line. And what I'm trying to achieve is separating the skin from the fibre. Very simple, because it just glides across and it just peels it like that. Okay, now that there, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call para. Para is a waxy film that makes this plant waterproof. So, for example, if you were wanting to make yourself a waterproof rope, you would keep that on. But in this case, we're going to remove it all so that you can see the actual fibre itself. Now, the texture is very similar to the tail of a horse. Very similar texture. Okay, and that there is muka, everyone. This was used for rope, fishing lines, fishing nets, traditional poi. Now you learned Erere Taku poi, yes? This was used as the cord for the traditional poi that our men used in days of old. So this was used as the cord. And that there, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call muka. Okay, and we're very fortunate here in New Zealand to still have this plant growing wildly. And there are over 44 different types, but out of those 44 there's about 6 species that contain very, very strong fibre. We're very lucky in this area of Tamaki, we have a lot of fibrous flax plants here. And yeah, that's all that I have, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions or you'd like to see what I had to offer, come on up. Otherwise, have a great night. Thank you.